Hi, this is Sarah with Grace Company, and today we are going to review motor mismatch errors and how to resolve them. If you are receiving a motor mismatch error when turning on your quilt motion, it could be due to several things. The first thing we want to do is make sure the channel locks are not engaged. If the channel locks are engaged, they stop the motor plate from moving and it will throw a motor mismatch error. Check both top and bottom channel locks and disengage if necessary. The software will then walk you through some steps to try and fix the motor mismatch error. Once you receive this, go ahead and press OK. Does your machine move freely about the frame? Test by moving your machine and make sure that it is not locked or the channel locks are not engaged. If it does, press yes. Now we're going to move the machine from front to back and back to front. Do you hear a clicking sound? If you do hear a clicking sound, this indicates that the short belt is installed incorrectly. If you do hear a clicking sound, click on yes and reinstall your short belt. If you don't hear a clicking sound, click no. Now we're going to move our machine from left to right and right to left. Do you hear a clicking sound? If you do hear a clicking sound, this indicates that the long belt is installed incorrectly. You will need to click on yes and reinstall your long belt. If you don't hear a clicking sound, click no. Now you want to make sure that the machine is centered from left to right and front to back. If you hear a bumping noise when you start up your quilt motion, that means that the machine is pulled too far forward and there's nowhere for the machine to move. This will also throw a motor mismatch error. The fix for this is to move your machine back so it's centered within your quilting area from front to back and side to side. If your machine is centered on the frame and you're still getting a motor mismatch error, it could be due to the cabling underneath the motor plate. I recommend taking your machine off of your frame and taking the carriage and looking on the back side so you can see the back side of the motor plate. The most common cables that can come loose or unplugged are these two cables right here. I would check to make sure that these cables are plugged in all the way and that they're not loose. Otherwise, these will throw a motor mismatch error. There are some uncommon cables that can come loose, which are these cables right here, these two right here, and this one right here. These take some effort to pull out, so it is less common for these to be unplugged, but it happens. Most of these cables can get unplugged during shipping or just general use. So I'd make sure that all of these cables are plugged in correctly and all the way. Otherwise, you will get a motor mismatch error. Once you have gone through all of these steps, press OK, and then the software will close. Then you just want to reopen. Make sure that your machine is centered on the frame from front to back and left to right. If it is, press OK. Once the software opens completely and you see the green connected button, you're good to go. If you have any questions or are still experiencing a motor mismatch error, please contact our Grace Company tech support.